Hello, everybody, and thank you for joining me today. It's Allan Laboucan with the Rocks and Stocks News Show. And we got our regular guest on, Ewan Downey from i-80 Gold. The reason that they're a regular guest is they just consistently keep on putting out great results from both their Granite Creek, Ruby Hills, and their various other work that they're doing. For example, just yesterday, they put out news on drilling results, 28 grams of gold over 17.8 meters, 39 grams of gold over 9.5 meters, 20.1 grams over 21 meters. There's a group that puts together the top list of drill results per week. And I think you're going to have 3 drill holes in that list, top 10, Ewan.
Yeah, once you see it, please forward it my way. But we're expecting we're going to be high up on the list again.
With 3 holes, there's, if you do it in gram metal factor, there's 370 gram meters, 424 and 501.
Yeah, no, it's impressive. The drill programs we've been doing at Granite Creek on both the South Pacific Zone and the OG Zone have yielded some tremendous results this year. And now we're at the point where we're going to be putting all of that information into a new resource model that we'll be publishing hopefully at the end of the first quarter of next year. And also on the back of that, a feasibility study for the OG auto portion of the operation, and a preliminary economic assessment we're expecting to deliver for the South Pacific Zone.
One of the things that stood out to me from that news release, Ewan, is that a lot of that looks like it's oxide material.
Yeah, we've been somewhat surprised in drilling the Granite Creek project, given it's right beside the Turquoise Ridge and Twin Creeks operations of Nevada Gold Mines, which are now at depth are all entirely sulfide. And the drilling we've done in the South Pacific Zone suggests it's 100% sulfide, but the OG Zone, even in our drilling down to about 1,500 foot depth, is showing quite significant amount of oxide within that fault block. So in our mining, we're also mining a fair amount in the OG Zone of oxide. So that material right now is being stockpiled, and we're working on a solution at processing that material. But it's really good grades, and we you have to remember that we do have our own CIL plant at Ruby Hill, so we're doing some work on a potential restart of that to be the location for us to process oxide material in the future.
And so that would be a nice combination. You can get to that real quickly, and that would be high margin stuff.
Yeah, we'd expect it to be very high margin. We also are we're doing the metallurgy on the oxide material at how well does it recover on a heap, because we have our operating heap leach nearby at Lone Tree, just down the road from Granite Creek. And we're also discussing with Nevada Gold Mines the potential for them to process as well. But it is very high grade, and we're just working on what's going to be the best solution, both short term and long term. I think long term you'll see our company do a restart of the CIL plant at Ruby Hill, and that'll help our company grow our standalone capabilities in the state anyway. So that's something we've commissioned a study, and you'll see the results of that study soon.
And ultimately, that would lead to more gold production, because you wouldn't have to put so much material through the autoclave, the sulfide processing facility.
Yeah, our goal is still to get the autoclave up and running, maximize its capacity, and really when that facility is maxed out in terms of capacity, that would be a threshold of how much production we could have. So having the second plant, the ability to restart that on an expedited basis, is only expected to increase our gold production on an annual basis.
Excellent. And Ewan, tell us, I'm blown away by a couple things. You're getting some really good grades at the depth of the OG. Then you've got the South Pacific sitting right beside that, and that gives you what, about a 600-meter strike length, and you're still open to keep going towards that big mine, and then you've got the depth potential as well.
Yeah, our northmost step out hole that we drilled at the end of the program was 15.7 grams over 6.6 meters. So it's completely open along strike at depth. And like you mentioned, the strike length in the upper parts of the mine is about 150 meters. Whereas at depth where the South Pacific zone is, we've increased that strike length to about 700 meters now. So essentially we've more than 4 times the strike length as we go deeper, and it's completely open. So we're very excited about the upside opportunity there. And next year in 23, following the cold season that's going to be coming in Nevada, we'll be ramping up our drill campaign again to continue to expand mineralization at depth and to the north.
Because you got a runway of the right kind of rock that leads to a really big mine to your north there.
Yeah, right now, just north of our boundary is the Turquoise Ridge operation. It's in the same, basically the same host rocks that we're drilling. We're all along the same fault structure, same rock unit. And they're now drilling and mining down to depths about 5,000 feet. Whereas we're only drilling down to about 1,500 feet. And their ore body now, between production, reserves, and resources, is about 25 million ounces. So we're definitely drilling right beside an elephant, and our deposit just keeps getting bigger too. So it bodes well for our future.
You can say that. That's a bit of an understatement, Ewan. You got a 25 million ounce gold deposit right beside you. You're in the same fault structure, the same rock package, and you just keep going and going and going towards that thing.
Yeah, and next year we're planning on doing some deeper holes next year. Not a lot, but just testing what is the real down dip potential. The Turquoise Ridge deposit they mined basically from surface, like at Granite Creek, and what they're mining now, what they call the turquoise deeps, and the deep north zone. Those deposits occur well below 2,000 feet where the stratigraphy flattened. And we still are drilling in more of the vertical component of the stratigraphy, but we do expect there will be a flattening of the stratigraphy here at Granite Creek. It's just what depth does it occur?
Wow. It's and I've mentioned before to people that continuity is king in this business. Well, continuity to margin. But that's what the second thing that really impresses me with Granite Creek is the continuity. You look at that map, the long section and cross sections, and there's tremendous continuity in that high grade. That's what makes a big high grade mine.
Yeah, I think in the main block of the South Pacific zone, which now measures about 650 meters along strike and about 300 meters to depth that we've drilled, it's pretty rare that a drill hole in that section hits less than 10 grams per ton. I think there's been 2 or 3, but they've all been sort of 5, 7, 8, and then everything else is 10 to 30 grams or 40 grams.
Wow. That's
yeah, it's remarkable continuity in this zone, and sits in a fault structure that's been very continuous. The Carlin deposits here in this part of the Battle Mountain Trend, they can be quite potty, so you get sort of splay fault structures, but the South Pacific fault has been one that is very continuous along strike, and the continuity within that structure is being remarkable.
Well, keep on it at Granite Creek, but that's not your only world. I mean, I started calling it a world-class project a long time ago, but now it just keeps on delivering, and it's without a doubt a world-class project.
Yeah, it's and the fact that it's permitted, the dewatering's there, we have our water rights, the infrastructure's in place, the power line is in. it is definitely a great opportunity for us over the next 12 months to continue to grow our production profile. And ultimately, with these grades, we expect it to be very strong cash flow.
Well, and that's just another phenomenal aspect of Granite Creek is that you can narrow that development discount window of the Lausanne curve down to virtually a year or two, right?
Yeah, yeah, and we actually expect to be mining on what would be considered ore grade material on a daily basis by the end of this year. So we're continuing to meet our expectations to be at about 350 to 400 tons per day by the end of 2022, and continue to ramp up in 2023. Our plan is to develop into the South Pacific zone, hopefully in the mid-year or third quarter, and start mining the South Pacific zone by the end of next year. And that will allow us to achieve a rate, we think, of about 1,000 tons per day. And that would result in pretty good production coming out of the site.
Wow. And so I know we're on a bit of a tight schedule here today, but this isn't your only world-class project. You've also got the Ruby Hill. That's just a phenomenal results on that. We should you expecting some news on that in the near future, Ewan?
Yeah, we're drilling, I think we're on hole 66 of the program, and we've released 20. So there's a lot of news to come. Some of that drilling has been focused on the Carlin type gold, so the sulfide gold in the Ruby Deeps deposit. And we've had some spectacular results out of there. Our best hole was about over 600 gram meters. So in that deposit, so it's really been shaping up. And just recently, we announced a new discovery at Ruby Hill of a CRD deposit where we hit just over 39% lead zinc, 15 ounces per ton silver, and just under a gram gold. And we've been doing a lot. That's where we're doing all of our drilling right now, is around that discovery. We've got, we call the upper and the lower hilltop zones, and they, at least visually, are really shaping up. We're pretty excited about that area, and looking at how do we utilize the infrastructure, the milling infrastructure that we have at Ruby Hill for a long term. And as I've said before on your show, and that we've always had the intent to convert that plant to become a base metal plant, and that has the possibility of almost doubling our annual production.
Well, and a real free cash flow generating machine there, if that CRD keeps kicking out the way it is.
Yeah, we believe that the hilltop discovery, in terms of grade anyway, is likely the highest grade CRD deposit being drilled anywhere in the world right now. And you'll just have to wait to see the next batch of results, and I think you'll understand why we're pretty excited about this target.
Well, I'm really excited about it, Ewan. What is impressive to me is you've got that pit. Then right beside it to the west, you've got the 426 zone, which leads you down to the Ruby Deeps. You've got other hits you're having around there. Then you go to the south and you've got this CRD with the right kind of rocks, the right kind of plumbing system, and tremendous grade, and it just can keep on giving and giving that Ruby Hill project.
Yeah, and we also don't forget that right under the pit, we have the Blackjack zone that's not
Right.
in the resource, but has significant intercepts, and it's a skarn deposit. So if you look at the geological model for these type of districts, we've got the gold, the Carlin gold there. We've got the CRD system, or the manto type mineralized zones. Then we've identified skarn. So it does suggest that we could be quite close to a porphyry source. And that's something we are doing some work on right now. We're trying to assess what that where that is. When you get to the skarn, you're sort of getting proximal. So we've got all the ingredients that suggest we're in a very big mineralized system that could have a significant porphyry deposit associated as well. So there's a lot of opportunity here. We've got a big land package, and we just continue to add resources here, both in base metals and gold.
Wow, that and that easy access with the pit there is just you couldn't really ask for a better situation in the mining. You're right beside Eureka. You got a pit that leads you down to high grade gold, and a pit that leads you down to a CRD system.
Yeah, everything we expect will be linked. So the decline, which we're permitting to put out the side of the pit, about halfway down, will as we drift about 100 meters into that drift, we should access the 426 zone, and then we expect to spiral down to Ruby Deeps, and at the same time from that level, we expect to drift over and drill off the skarn, or the blackjack deposit from underground. And depending on how much more we hit here at Hilltop, then we could just drift over and access Hilltop. So we expect everything to be linked, and probably ultimately have 2 portals so that we could really ramp up the amount of material we bring out of that operation.
Wow, just a tremendous story you guys have developing, you, and then the more and more I hear about, the more and more I see from the drilling, it just keeps proving that these are 2 world-class projects.
Yeah, we believe we are definitely drilling off 2 of the highest grade new deposits that you'll find anywhere in the world, and these are truly looking like they will be world-class deposits at the end of the day.
Well, let me close it off. I know we're on a tight schedule today, Ewan, but thanks a lot for your kind time, being kind with your time.
Yeah, thank you for having me on the show again, and I'm sure I'll talk to you soon.
Okay, so here we go. There you go, folks. I mean, I want to talk a little bit about valuation because and where i-80 fits in that valuation story. Not long ago, a company was taken over in the mining business for $1.8 billion. They don't have the same kind of continuity of high grade as i-80 does. Another exploration company out there has an $800 million valuation, and they're still in the exploration. They don't have any kind of idea how long before they get to a resource. They got a 7 to 10 year Lassonde curve ahead of them. And I would take these either one of these projects over what they have over there. You look at the Arizona Mining, who found a CRD. They were taken over for $1.5 billion. And then you've got i-80 with all of these assets in one company, trading at a 500 and some million dollar valuation. It's not very often that you find a company that has a $500 million valuation that you think could be a 5 to 10 bagger for investors out there. But I think that's realistic potential. They're at Granite Creek. They're right beside a 25 million ounce gold deposit, and they keep on moving towards it. And they're in the right kind of rock and got tremendous continuity. The depth's open, the strike's open. At Ruby Hill, they've got a phenomenal situation developing with their gold and a CRD kicker. I think this is a cornerstone holding for anybody that wants to look at a gold company. As always, don't let me tell you the story. Go to their website, look at their news releases, and it confirms everything that I keep talking about and Ewan tells us. And they keep delivering with the truth machine. So on that note, do your homework, speak with your financial advisors before making any investment decisions. But I really believe as you do your homework, you'll realize that this is a great cornerstone holding for investors that want exposure to a gold company with not a lot of downside risk and tremendous upside potential. On that note, have a great day, and we'll talk to you soon.